Hi guys, thanks for coming back for another video. We're going to do another chapter by chapter installment of one of the Witcher books called The Last Wish. Alright, so for myself and for your viewing pleasure, I'm trying to go chapter by chapter, even though they're kind of not chapters, in the first Witcher book, depending on where you count from. I audio read it a while ago. I don't remember a lot of it, so I decided to reread it, and why not kind of make a, not really a vlog, but just kind of a summary or comparison of this with the show a little bit, but mostly a summary of what happens in the book, so then as somebody's watching the show, they could refer back to this. So we are on, sometimes I call them chapters, but really they're kind of more like sections, because some of these chapters are extremely short. And they're also linked every other chapter. Apparently I'm calling them chapters right now. So chapter 1 was basically just a sex scene. Then we had the story of the Striga, which, by the way, spoiler warnings for basically everything. This is for someone who wants to know what happens in the book but doesn't have time to read it, or has watched the show and wants to see how it compares. Now I'm going to start with the book and more explain what's in here than what happens in the series. There's sometimes parallel, there's sometimes not, but if it's in the show, I'm going to let you know about it. So we went sex scene, Striga, kind of the aftermath of the sex scene. Then we had the Bruxa, I'll just call it that. And now we have the Voice of Reason number 3, which is the 5th chapter. We're back with Nenneke and Geralt. So I guess Geralt hasn't left the temple of what I'm going to call Melitele. The audiobook calls it Melitele. I kind of like Melitele better, but it's harder for my brain to switch because I'm visual and remember the series better. But it's another very short chapter. We go back to Nenneke, and there's these two dudes there that are not happy. Falwick, Count of Moen, and this knight is Tylus from Dorndal. I don't really care. I don't care. The important bit is that they have a white rose kind of emblem on them. Nenneke has a kind of a throne-like chair that she puts herself in, and to us, it's very, and to Geralt, I'm sure, it's very clear that Nenneke is in charge here, and she's not going to be taking your you-know-what. But these two guys are just so pretentious and annoying. They call themselves Knights of the White Rose, which is going to be relevant. They arrived demanding that the Witcher leave as soon as possible. They're kind of trying to boss him around. And Nenneke's like, my temple, I give the orders. So this Tylus guy is the real instigator. He's really the guy trying to be like, how dare you talk to me? I'm so important, blah, blah, blah. Nenneke just puts him in his place constantly. She pulls out a small porcelain jar at some point, and they say, don't threaten me with your spells. She doesn't do anything with it, and I thought I remembered something where Geralt asks her what it was, and she was like, it wasn't anything, I was just messing with him. But Nenneke, again, she's just like, if you touch one of us, you're dead. Just large and in charge. Stop acting like a fool. I delivered you, you bleeping brat. Geralt says he's not at the temple as a witcher, meaning to kill a monster. He's there on personal business. So then the Falwick guy tries to kind of calm things down and says, Venerable Nenneke. And he gets it come on, we all know that witchers don't have personal business. Which isn't really true. Geralt's like, okay, whatever, I'll leave in 3 days. Nenneke's fine with that. Geralt's been pretty compliant or quiet this entire time and just kind of let Nenneke do the talking. Nenneke agrees with Geralt and says, he'll remain here for 3 days and I, the priestess, will be his host. But Tylus is just kind of like, I won't let this stand, blah, blah, blah. And Geralt finally snaps and it's like, shut up, you brat. Yeah. They both kind of Geralt and Nenneke both kind of put them in their place and be like, you can't tell us what to do. We are in charge here, blah, blah, blah. And Geralt addresses Sir Falwick, who was the one that was trying to be somewhat reasonable, and says, if he draws a sword, I'll take it from him and beat the snotty-nosed little brat's arse with the flat of his blade. Tylus is finally, scared, and he, drops the sword, but he's still screaming obscenities on his way out. But Nenneke goes, "You dropped something, son, so pick it up. We don't leave rubbish here." Burn! Damn! Basically, the chapter ends by them saying, "We'll be back." Nenneke's like, "Oh, great. The displeasure's mine," she says. And then that's up through chapter 5, or whatever you want to call them. Look at the title of the next one. You can probably understand what's next. However, this is the 6th chapter in the book. I won't say which episode this corresponds to, but I'm pretty sure you're going to know. So this is going to take me a little bit to summarize, probably even longer to edit, but I'm really, really curious because I've probably watched the next episode the most. And I'm really curious to see how it's going to compare to the book, even though I've read it before, but I don't remember. So thanks for watching. If you're still here, this is one of the shorter ones. I think all of these are going to be short with Nenneke here, but they're also going to like make things make sense in the end. So I'm following it. I hope I'm explaining it right. These videos are going to help me in the future. Hopefully they'll help you as well. Gosh, I would love to get through the first 3 or 4 again before the next series comes out. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen with series 4, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. So thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Subscribe. We have some book content because we're art and animals, but it's not all books. Art can mean a lot of things, and animals, of course, is completely different. So hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Sometimes I call it chapters, sometimes I call it sometimes. We all know that wizards